Yo, what's up, guys? I finally made a SF Abyss hard team that is super fast and consistent and almost never fail. I haven't seen it fail yet since I switched to the Argon, which is my newest addition to this. Only issue is you need an LD5 for it. Don't click the video away yet. Don't click the video away yet. I do have something to say about PvE in general, which I do think influence everyone. Might you say how to replace the Maximilian? I do have a video on this. Okay, that's actually the first time it kind of goes for a heavy fill, but I do have a video on this, how to do SF10 without, well, pretty much free-to-play units. In that case, it is the Gina, Zinc, Lauren, Brandia. Okay, Brandia not fully free-to-play, but it's best in slot. And then also using either the Ken, or, well, that's a miss of buff block in the first place. Let's see if this run goes pretty bad. But I do have that video with the Ken, but actually the Igar is better. So the Dark Vampire is better, not Cadiz, but the other one. I might say that for that team also, Argon might be pretty interesting, because I did notice with Argon tends to go always for S3 the moment that there are already debuffs on the boss, and Argon with S3 right now also does give branding. So it's a very high chance to get branding from Argon in the first place. So I will showcase this team, but first I will say what I want to say about PvE, and then I'll showcase the team for the runes for the people that might want to make this or just are curious about the runes. A thing that I was thinking about a few days back or even weeks back already. Why does PvE have the resistance check in the game? Shouldn't PvE just simply say like, okay, I need the boss has 50 resistance. The moment that I have 50 accuracy, I would never miss in PvE. Because that makes a few units that people are putting in storage right now because a stupid 3-star is better, naming a Jara because Prelia is just simply better and more consistent. They're just not using that because of the 15 resistance check. And in the end, it's PvE, just dungeon farming. Does it matter that there's no RNG to it? Like, sure, you keep your RNG in your siege, and you keep your RNG in like your RTA and all of that kind of stuff. Otherwise, the game would be boring. Understandable. But why should you get RNG'd for 15% resistance checks in PvE? Because in the end, the faster we clear dungeons, the more crystals we spend, the more money Come To Us makes. So I think even Come To Us would agree with that idea of just removing that. And with that, you could make an SF team, because I do have a method to get perfect AI on the Gina. And then the Gina will always go for skill 2, so therefore always will actually go for a buff block. Only issue is that team is just straight up bound to be losing 15% of the time, because it just simply doesn't work. People are putting the Jaras, which is arguably the best PvE setup unit in the game, in storage, because it has more chance to miss than Aprilia. So for those two reasons, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat here as well, recording from Twitch right now. Let me know what you guys think. Would you say that it would be too OP if you had no resistance checks in PvE, but only when you hit like the real threshold of the accuracy check, or maybe even make it 100 accuracy? The moment you're 100 accuracy in PvE, you just never miss. Because then you still have like the RNG of like the activation. Does it do skill 1, 2, or 3? So you have to be looking at like the mechanics of the skills, and then you come up with something fair and something nice. But especially for Jara owners, I don't own Jara, but I still think it's very fair for Jara to just land the shit. You could arguably say maybe exclude R5 to keep that a little bit more difficult, but even R5 might as well just, like, if you want to guarantee like what's it called, branding, you kind of want to land your branding based on you're activating your branding, not by like, ooh, you got 15 checked a few times. Like, I don't know. So I do think PvE no rest checks would really be good. Diverse dungeon teams. Yeah, I do think that it would give a lot of chances for units that are currently not great enough for dungeons to be used in dungeons as well. Because we're now all very bound. Like, everyone has to use Aprilia. Everyone has to use Allura. Those are just multi-hitters, more consistent. Therefore, everyone is like bound and having to use those units. Whereas if you, if your armor break is consistent, you could even use a Belladion. Like, Belladion will always skill 1 if there's nothing to skill 2 or skill 3 for. So Belladion will be a consistent armor breaker, guaranteed. Super nice, right? What's wrong with that? So yeah, those are just the few takes that I have on PvE. Pretty curious to see what you guys in the comments think about that as well. I think it would be nice. And just for dungeons. So no TOA, no siege, no RTA, just the dungeon itself. just to make dungeon farming easier and faster. And in the end, faster dungeons for us is, well, there's nothing more annoying than coming back to your phone and seeing like, oh, you lost 3 and it's out of the dungeon right now. Or, oh, you lost 2 and normally it never fails, but now a few resistance checks and that kind of stuff. So, like, those kind of things are just super frustrating and annoying, and you would fix a lot with that. And in the end, you improve the rune requirements. So let's say you have to make your Lauren now 100 accuracy. It's not that difficult. You have to make your Jara 100 accuracy. Not that difficult. You have to make your Gina for this stage 100 accuracy. Also not that difficult, but there's good options for that. Ah, we missed the... He did do the skill. He did miss the buff block. So I guess that this team can still lose if all 3 of the units miss their buff block. I think there's pretty much not a fast team out there that would not lose, because there's always some fucking skill missing on this stupid thing. I think we can still manage to win this. If you land an armor break right now. No, didn't land that armor break. If you had, well, you do have an armor break over there. That's not too bad. Can we get your skill 3 in the building? Yep, okay, we still win. So yeah, this team with a Maximilian is just very much cheating. Maximilian is such an insane freaking backup, because the skill 3 has a lot of debuffs. Skill 1 has heal block, which is also useful. So there's just too much going on in this team. 33 average, that's a nice average. I think we can go faster than that. Fastest run is about 20 seconds, but probably had a few very long runs in here as well. To showcase the runes, they are very free to play and easy to get runes. Like and subscribe if you can make these runes, because everyone could. Oh. Okay, let's say like and subscribe if you can't make these runes, because I think that way I get more likes and subscribe, because everyone is like, I cannot make these runes. Like, yeah, that's also the difference. If you make a dungeon team, you put your 6th rage set on your dungeon unit. If I make a dungeon team, I de-rune my giants, I de-rune my R5, I de-rune my everything, and then I put those runes towards these units, and therefore they have crazy freaking runes. Because in the end, I don't have that many crazy rage runes. I just have a few of them, few broken sets, and then it kind of works out. So this is the Brandia. Could be better on the left. Decent thing on the right. The Maxi, also pretty decent, 266. Did need 35 accuracy on it. This whole dungeon needs 35 accuracy, so... And then damage wind, damage skill 3. I needed a little bit of additional damage by attack, because if he doesn't land the armor break from the S3, he doesn't kill, but with, he does. Super nice. This thing also builds Zinc on damage. It's actually pretty nice, because Zinc in the end is tanky by defense anyway, so might as well just put crit damage to him. And he does have a decent amount of damage to his ass, which is pretty nice, pretty nice. Then we have the Laura, typical triple fighter. You can put some damage to her as well, but I do think actually that she would be better if I full tank her. I think I will make her full tank, because in the end her damage doesn't really change anything, and it's probably better if she survives rather than instantly dies. This thing is also 35, 100 in there, and it moves just in front. I do think that this is also probably the best speed tuning. You could say this in front of that, so Lauren has the chance to strip. But Argon after gives more Argon chance to go for the Argon skill 3. And Argon skill 3 has a chance to buff block and branding, which is just nice. And then this skill is also just a little bit of that. It's the same skill as the dark version. And Brandia we just already saw. So yeah, that's this team. Is there any like super good replacement for the Maximilian? No, not really. Like the best replacement for the Maximilian is probably just the Gina. That's just the way it is. And yeah, you gotta work with that. That's as simple as it. I could see this team work where you just go Gina and this thing, because the two of Gina and this thing can clear waves together as well. It is just a little bit worse for like the final stage, because if Gina doesn't have skill 3 in the final stage and she moves after the Zinc, Gina will always attempt to strip if there's something to strip. So if there's no buff block already, Gina will always try to go for a buff block. Which is just a very, especially if she doesn't have the S3. If she does have S3, she will try to S3, but if the S3 was used in the previous stage, then she will try to do that. So then you have to go for the Zinc, and then after that, the Gina, which is still a very good team. And in that case, if you use Argon over the Igar, Igar is also pretty good. But the issue with Igar is he takes 2 turns, so you need to will your Brandia. If you do this, it's 5 turns, so there is no 6 turns, so there's no laser thunderbolt up your ass, and therefore Brandia doesn't need any will runes. So that's just that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. One more tip for artifact farming that I can give is you probably have no artifact space. No artifact space, always super annoying, that kind of stuff. But you have the thing that is some property or a sub property sum right now, which will actually put your best artifact or your highest efficient artifact all the way at the front, but also your worst one all the way at the back. So if you were to go towards all the way at the bottom, I did actually start equipping them from the bottom because I already start selling them and stuff. But it's very easy to find artifacts with the lowest efficient rolls. Like, sure, it could be very low rolls on the other 3 and then still 1 good stat on 1, and therefore it's still a good artifact. But it is definitely a way that you could scroll all the way to the bottom and be like, okay, is this artifact actually good or is it just bad rolled? Because that's just your easiest way to also find these artifacts that you got all the way at the start and never actually did anything with, or you can't find them anymore. If you want to sell them, the sub-property sum, and you either put the arrow down and then they're at the top, or this. And what you can always do is what I've also have been starting to do a little bit, which I still have to do a little bit more, is you go through all of your units and you check, do you have artifacts? Easiest way for me to do that is this, and then you put them on runes, and you just start tapping them, checking, okay, you don't have artifacts. We go from here, we go for the artifacts, we do this, we put that to the top, and then we just start equipping artifacts that are like the worst artifacts out there. I think it is easier for me to do it this way, actually. I'm more used to that. And then we just equip 2 artifacts that are the worst artifacts that I have by the statistics itself. And then we just move on to the next unit, and we just keep doing that until we have a lot of artifact space that we can work with. That's kind of the only way to make artifact space at the moment. Those 2 things. But definitely the selling thing is something that you could use. Also, if you try to equip them, it's best to remove, of course, everything that is equipped up already, because otherwise you're just scrolling through a whole bunch of nonsense. Now it does go quite a bit faster to just equip all of those artifacts to units, and that just gives you a lot of artifact space. So I actually do have a lot of units that have like half ruined and shit. It's so annoying. I think I should have so much space if I actually equipped everything. Oh, that was one that was already, that was one of those. But yeah, just a little tip to sell those, make some more space, because artifact farming in the end, it is super chill, because you just click on this thing and it sells all the artifacts that are shit, and they are already up, so you know that they are shit. But that's just making things very nice, and then you just check a few that maybe have decent things. So the cell selection in here is so much more chill than in rune farming. So yeah, that's all there is for this video. Pretty short one. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Once again, what do you think about PvE having no resistance checks? Because I think resistance over there, they cucked my team, and I don't like it. So probably you think the same. If not, well, let's see. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab, which has the dungeon guide archive and the video guide archive, which contains all of the guides that you need. Hope to see you there.